Hello everybody, welcome to the next episode, and you may be thinking, wait a minute, this does not look like the inside of Ganon's tower. Why are we back at Forest Haven? Well, we are back here because we have the last remaining photos for our gallery. Now if you're wondering how I left the tower, I basically, after the end of the recording, ended the episode, and then went back and redid the fight and purposely lost so I could lose, so that way I could be warped out of the tower. So we can actually complete this without New Game Plus. So I'm not going to count that really as a death because A, it takes a really long time for you to die to the puppet. Yeah, be glad I didn't show that off. And also B, it also took a very long time because whenever the bat showed up, the puppet decided to become a ballerina dancer and not attack whatsoever. But anyway, let's show him our last 3 photos we need for our gallery. So let's leave. Nope, that's not right. So let's make 24 hours pass. Then go back inside. Welcome, Link! Your figure-based request has been fulfilled! I know I always say this, but some of the best work I've done in quite a while. Go in that room there to check it out. I was completely overcome with the creative urge, seeing what you gave me. I ended up making a lot of figures, but all that artistic spirit made me a little absent-minded, so I don't exactly remember which rooms I placed them all in. Why don't you go and have a look inside? So despite them all being in the same room, because they're in the same category, he doesn't remember, so... yeah, I'm just gonna make a quick cut. So with that cut, if we go and speak to him, well, do you like it? If you do, then go find me another great subject to work on. Do you have any new subjects for me? If you do, please show me. How do you like my figures? Isn't it marvelous? We do only use the highest quality material after all. I suppose it couldn't be anything less than lovely. You can make figures out of many different materials, but I carved mine from rainbow stone. It's a special type of rock. Those colors defy description. Rainbow stone is very precious material and can only be found around here. So he mentions rainbow stone, but you can never find this material. But anyway, you may be thinking, well, why is there no fanfare or anything? Well, what you need to do, you need to leave the gallery and then immediately go back in. As you land, you'll notice that he's disappeared. Let's speak with this kid. The manager guy is gone, you know? Yeah, he left one last figure and took off somewhere. I have no idea where. He left your figure in the vast ocean room on the other side of that wall. I've made every last figure in this world could possibly desire from me, and I've set out into the world in search of new inspirations to guide my hands. That's what was written here. So I guess this means you're the new master in the Nintendo Gallery, aren't you? It looks like you'll be with us for a long, long time. I'll be counting on you, buddy. I'll be here every day. So yes, he ends up leaving and you become the new owner of the Nintendo Gallery. So let's go around and look at our figures before we end the episode. Now I don't know if I'll read all of their descriptions, but I'll comment on some of them if they're something of interest. But yeah, you get to know the character's name, their birthplace, and also what kind of personality they have. Makar in charge of the musical performance at the ceremony held each year by the Koroks in the Forest Haven. The instrument he uses appears to be a cello, but it's actually a violin. Yeah, you get to learn some pretty interesting details about these characters. Here's the Deku Tree, which are amazing. He managed to make a figure of the entire tree. The tree is born an earth spirit, guardian of the forest. Da, 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 da. So yeah, I think I might just go quiet and have us read these figures. I will comment on some of these if anything stands out about them. Because his roots run deep in the earth, he cannot move. As a result, he is often afflicted by parasitic enemies. Well, I guess that makes sense given that he was covered in cheese when we saw him. Oh, I also forgot to mention, you can actually move the camera around so you can actually properly view your figures. I forgot to mention that. I kind of like that. The reason he won't let anyone watch him sculpt is because he does so in his underwear. Lately, his club has been losing membership because he hasn't done anything cool with it. But as long as Link hangs around, everything will be alright. I kind of like that. Alright, so that's the Forest Haven room complete. Yeah, and also these signs tell you how to view your figures and such. Next, let's go into the Dragon Roost room. Okay, I kind of like that. It says that an ancestor in an age gone on was also a postman. I believe this is supposed to be a reference to the postman in from Termina. So he's potentially related to that postman. He wants to be like us. I love Quill has a title to his figure. Quill the Postman. Makes him sound epic. Quill has courage, and if nothing else, he's admired by his fellow Ruto, and the chieftain places great trust in him. If you fail to get his photo, getting the photo of the chieftain, I believe, does get you his figure. Here's my friend's Nick's one of his favorite characters. Has a habit of speaking only in Hylian, which only his attendant Medley grasps. Yeah, and this is the character who my friend thought was the one that disappears, and instead it's the guy all the way back at the entrance. Yeah, I'm still mad about that, if you're wondering. Wait a minute. Obai, is that how you say his name? Has an unhealthy session with Rudos, and he began dressing as a Rudo. Oh, so he's not even a real Rudo. He's a human. I didn't know that. I thought he was an actual Rudo. I guess that explains why he looks like Waluigi. Wah, I really wanted to be a Rudo. I'm running his famed Birdman contest. His older brother of the Lavable Brothers, who's hosts the contest. So wait, are you a human too, or are you also a Rudo? Dressing up, I'm guessing you're also human. Will used to be a very average carpenter on Windfall, so he so longed to soar the skies that he began dressing as a Rudo. Yeah, so you are human. He began he is the younger of the Lavable pair of siblings. Huh, I never realized they were humans. I thought they were Rudos. But anyway, we're done with the Dragon Roost room. Let's go into the enemies room. Also, I'm very impressed for this figure. He's managed to get like these little like blob things suspended. Habitat, Forsaken Fortress. Well, there's only really one, and I've seen them in other locations. Personality, surprisingly lonely. These creatures use their long hands to grab their victims, which they can yank into another room. They occasionally grab nearby vases and throw them. Least favorite thing, projectiles. I will say here, I kind of love this this pose. Like, this one looks like he's ready to fight. The one in the back looks like he's curious. The one in the front's falling over, and this dude, and the one and the purple one's doing a like he's trying to do a superhero pose. It's like, I am here to save the day. Talent, herd movements. These creatures are quick and agile. They scurry along walls and gather in great numbers. You should deal with them individually so they don't surround you. Oh, I just realized this enemy sort of looks... Ah, I just realized there's a boss in Tears of the Kingdom that has a form that takes on a shark form, and I just realized it actually kind of looks like this enemy. I wonder if that was its inspiration. Okay, the Octoroks. They actually have a cool detail about them I like. Species, an expeditionary enemy. When approached, these creatures tend to hide in water. They can easily be defeated by reflecting rocks, and they shoot with a sword or shield. Now, in the original, they would actually have a different description. Instead of, I think, like something enemy as it describes them, it mentions in the original Wind Waker, it says they would have the perfect attendance award, as up to this point in time, they have been in every single Zelda game in some way, shape, or form. This perfect attendance would be broken by the next 3D Zelda, which was Twilight Princess, as Octoroks do not appear in Twilight Princess in any way. So that would break their perfect attendance, and they actually changed the information of the Octoroks in HD to reflect that. A sea hat. Talent rotoring. So yeah, here you can see that these birds are called Kagoroks. They are not called a Hammerok, despite them looking exactly like the Hammerok and in every way, shape, and form, essentially, which would make you think they are related and would probably have the same name, but no, they actually have different names. In the battle, you can grappling hook to steal their golden feathers. Least favorite thing, the mirror shield. Try to attack them from behind, okay? And the neighbors are using power tools. That is absolutely great. I kind of like these four posts. The 4 posts they have sort of set up here. They actually, I think this is in the colors of the 4 Post Sisters, actually. Alright, so that's all the enemies in the enemy room. So our next room will be the Forsaken Fortress room, which is the boss room. It holds the figure of all the bosses and mini-bosses that we fought. I love that the figure is so reflective and so shiny and reflective. Yeah, they have the exact same name, with the difference being these two were different figures. Knock off their helmets, which spell their doom. And here's these guys. So shiny and reflective. Ah, so they're called Mighty Dark Nuts. I thought they were called Royal Dark Nuts or Iron Knuckles. But anyway. Love their design, though. These Dark Nut captains, also they're the captains. So, some wear capes that must be burnt or cut off before their armor straps can be cut. Also, I don't know why the Moblin is in here, because that is not a mini-boss. That's a regular-ass enemy. Knock Link around with with that attack countless of times. Okay, that is actually true, given how many times I've been hit. And here's this guy, Morgana, or Morgana, oh, however you say its name properly. Yeah, the babies actually come with the figure. I thought you had to take a picture of them separate. Favorite thing, Makar! Oh, I just realized! Makar's on the figure! That is kind of adorable. And here's actually a cool detail with Goma here. You would think that its armor is golden, but it's actually supposed to be white, which is an interesting detail. You would think its body armor was golden, but I think that's because of the reflectiveness of the lava, but it's actually supposed to be like white and purple, which is kind of interesting. You also get to see the full body of this thing too, which you never get to actually see. Would be to drop an entire sheet of bedrock on it. How very Pacific. Mothra or Mothhola. Hamrock King, which is a pretty cool figure. Master Ganondorf. The mighty steel mask. Once the mask has been split with a hammer, its tender beak will be revealed. I also kind of love the detail that the Triforce is on the figure. The possessor of the Triforce of Power, Ganondorf controls many fell beasts. It is useless for Link to try and face him alone. He must look for an ally who can aid him in battle. Professor, like yes, Ganondorf stops his evil ways and becomes like a professor for like an academy. That would be kind of interesting to see. Jahalala. Underling's pose. Oh, I love this detail. Actually, you can use empty bottles to reflect his magic attacks. I love they added that into the figure. Yeah, this Wizrobe is just called Wizrobe, but I love to call him Master Wizrobe. High-level mages use magic summoning to aid them in battle. They are the only Wizrobes that can summon other Wizrobes, which makes them formidable. It even points out that oddly it gives you the items you need to beat it. So we're done with this room, so let's go into the Outset room. This will be everyone from Outset Island. Starting with a small crab. These creatures are crabs, plain and simple. He's currently looking for a wife. He's a lifelong bachelor. The surgeon was an accomplished swordsman in his youth. She actually enjoys the task. Birds! Talent flying. Steals their hearts, so that's supposed to be the reason why you can control them with the Hoyi pairs. Here's our sister! Kind and true to her family. So learn how to fetch water so she can help her grandmother. Her most treasured belongings is a telescope bearing the drawing of a seagull. Extra soup, which is sure to raise anyone's spirits. She can also be somewhat mischievous and enjoys playing the occasional prank on Link. That ties into something in New Game Plus. So we're done with this room. Now let's go into the Windfall room and look at the figures in there. Okay, that's very simple. But he's also recruiting for a partner. Jin the Fox. Okay, that's a cool name. The pig-nosed Jin Robo. Okay. personality, not practically good. Are distinct. Quite popular with all the boys, but she prefers wild boys over others. Yes, one that's particularly wild. Lately, she's taken writing poems and will soon be publishing one entitled A Woman's Heart is Blue. The one wants to break as soon as he catches sight of them. Said to regret it afterwards. Dampa! I believe his name is supposed to be a reference to I forget if it's a reference or the exact same name to the Gravedigger. I believe they're implied to be related. She once had a boyfriend, but that info is top secret. There is a bunch to say about Gosnak. The mood shifts violently. Kanon is the world's only maker of bombs. He considers himself a magician with his gunpowder and other explosives. His hairstyle is quite unique as his talent. Years with no girlfriend, 18. Children can be frightening sometimes. Lucky number 20. 20th year, this splendid individual has worked as Windfall's school teacher. Her hobby is collecting joy pendants. Her goal in life is to raise unique and creative students. The most unique thing she's ever created is her own hairstyle. Lately, they've been obsessed with Lenzo. I love that birthplace. Cold Island. Pet Perry, steer me. Even on the hottest of days of summer, Samurai can be found in his shop wearing his beloved hood and that his mother made for him. He keeps a treasure in a safe there. On a side note, he turns 40 this year and is now recruiting for a wife. Alright, we're done with the Windfall room. Now for the final room, which is the Great Ocean room. At first glance, quiet his least favorite thing, having his glasses touched by strangers. He's unstoppable and mad. Not many know this, but he keeps a knife hidden in the thick book of his Jesus Christ. Gonzo's underwear. Talent spying. It's a mile off, but no one really understands what he says, so he really knows what he's seen. Personality? Who knows? He's actually stronger than Gonzo. Interesting. Given that it implies Gonzo is supposed to be the strength out of the pirates. Talent, talking maybe? Sway's skills are said to be unmatched. Favorite thing, Miss Tetra. Leader of the Tetra family pirates, Gonzo seems to be quite strong, but he cries at the drop of a hat. Tetra seems bossy and strong-willed, but she's actually quite kind. Orphaned at a young age, Tetra followed in her mother's footsteps, becoming a pirate and watching after her mother's gang of lovable swabbies. Tetra and her crew are in search of a legendary treasure hidden beneath the waves of the Great Sea. They are now willing to offer Link valuable information. Unfortunately, much of their info is off the mark. For many long years, they have suffered from stiff necks, but none of them know how to cure it. Oh, the birthplace is the Angle Isles. With their first haul of treasure, all they could afford to buy was their diving suits. Now they dream to find that one huge haul that would make them all rich. They are currently searching for the legendary treasure sunken beneath the waves. Hoped to become a famous painter, but that dream didn't last long. He eventually returned to his hometown and came up with his current business plan. It's been a huge success, allowing him to purchase his own island, where he has opened up a second store, in which he hopes will become a huge chain. But now he's busy trying to think up that one idea that will spark the next big endeavor. So that explains why he has all those pictures, because he used to be an artist. Loot the sailor. His only fear, the merman. Here's Beetle's figure, which you can see behind him is the helmet when he takes on his alternate persona. Favorite thing, bugs, especially beetles. Which this would become a common character trait for him in future games. A businessman by nature, Beetle's sales pitch is unmatched. He hopes to open a chain of trading posts where people can buy, sell, or trade anything. Which his ancestors would be successful in doing that. Fairies and deciphering maps. It's been several years since Tingle first became enchanted with deciphering maps. He hopes that it would help him find fairies, and he's lost many things during that time. He's raising funds to begin his search for fairies, hoping to embark sometime in his 30s. While his lustful life is still upon him, at age 35, the pressure's on, as the neighbors are using power tools. Favorite pronoun, one many as hang for a stolen sheep, as for a stolen lamb. Since being taught how to decipher maps by his older brother Tingle, Ankle has been supporting his good-for-nothing twin brother Knuckle. The only time he feels that he can truly be himself is when he's tending to Tingle Island's flower garden. Occupation, treasure hunter. 17-year-old Daryl Jr. set out to sea with the dreams of finding the treasure of the ghost ship that his now deceased father once saw. He gets seasick quite easily and was in such a state that when he woke in a daze on Tingle Island, Anklet told him that self comes before wealth, and he's been working in the tower ever since. He really hates the uniform. Yeah, he's the only one out of the Tingle brothers that isn't biologically related. And yeah, we sort of helped fulfill his dream by getting the Triforce shard from the ghost ship. Carver. Knuckles is the other of the Tingle's younger brothers. He happens to be Anklet's twin. He's finished carving Tingle Tower when he was 10 years old and is the head of his studio. Supposedly, it used to bother him that at his collection was considered complete even without his figure. So yes, they actually point this out that he's required in HD where he wasn't originally. And apparently they made him required because he complained about it. I love how shiny these great fairies are. Here's the Fi lookalike, which she's extremely shiny. She appears to be but a child, but she is much greater and more powerful than the great fairies. She will grant Link the power to aid fire and ice to his arrows. Favorite food, rocks. Where these wandering merchants came from or where they are headed. This question would actually be answered, I believe, in Phantom Hourglass, that you would see what island the Gorons would make their homes on. Old Man Ho-Ho found his first telescope after retiring from his job and has been traveling in search of new sights ever since. A new discovery always awaits at the far end of his telescope. And here's the final figure you get once you've gotten all the figures. It is us with the King of Red Lions. Link and the King of Red Lions. Birthplace outset, favorite hand left. The hero of Wind, Link, uses the Wind Waker to control the wind and sail the seas on his mysterious boat, which is actually the King of Hyrule. Surprisingly, he seems to have an unnatural interest in figures and has at last completed his collection. He is now the master of the Nintendo Gallery. I forgot about that. So yes, that is all the figures. So a bit of a long video for this, but we have completed our gallery. So with that, we will end the episode here, and I will meet you back in Ganon's Tower for the final episode. If you enjoyed this episode, do like the videos, it helps tremendously. Subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment down below on your thoughts on this episode, and share the video so that more people can discover my content and help the channel grow. And I'll see you all in the next episode. Later.